Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 7 of 2025, and I'm continuing the story that I started yesterday, What the Rose Did to the Cypress. As you might remember, the eldest son of King Saman had ridden off in pursuit of a deer, had eventually met Fakir, like a wandering old man in the desert, who was actually a king and had at one point in time been the king of Babylon, King Jamfatir. Now, King Jamfatir told Tamops his story, why he was out in the desert. And Tamops listened to the entire story. The story basically went like this. Jamfatir's eldest son had heard tell of this maiden, the daughter of King Quimus, Mir Afruz. Mir Afruz had put before all of her suitors the task of answering this riddle, what the rose did to the cypress, in order to win her hand, and none had been able to. All of those suitors' heads now decorated the battlements of that city. King Jamfatir's eldest son had not been able to be distracted from his purpose of winning this woman's hand in marriage. King Jamfatir had offered to send an army of men off to King Quimus, and if King Quimus was not willing to give his daughter up, he would conquer the city himself and win Mir Afruz for his son in that way. But his son was not happy with this. He said that he wished to win her in the way that she had set forth to be won. Off he had gone. He'd arrived at the city and lost his life. And one by one, all his 7 sons had done the same. In mourning, King Jamfatir had left and gone off into the desert by himself. He had built this palace for himself in an oasis in the desert, and there he lived, trying as best he could to align himself with the Almighty. Now, it just so happened as King Jamfatir, as he finished his story, Tamops's companions rode up, gathered about Tamops like moths around a flame. They had brought with them a fresh horse, and Tamops, bowing before King Jamfatir, placed his foot in that stirrup of safety, and rising into the saddle, rode off for his own kingdom, for his own home, eldest son of King Saman. Now, it so happens that that story pierced his heart, and fall in love he did with that unseen woman. When he arrived home, much as lovers do, he pined for Mir Afruz, wasted away thinking about her, his heart clouded over with love. His companions inquired what bewailed him, and in a sense lifted for a moment that clouded veil from his heart to find out what he longed for, and sharing this information with his father, King Saman. He was summoned for his father. Tamaps revealed his love. King Saman, just as King Jamfatir had done for his sons, offered to send, first of all, opulent gifts to Mir Afruz to win her hand in this way, and if she would not come willingly, to send his army and overtake that city with power and force, and bring that haughty woman, Mir Afruz, to his son for a wife. But Tamaps would have none of that. Seeking advice from his counselors, King Saman was directed to allow his son to go in hopes that on the way he would repent and think better of his rash actions and return home. King Tamaps set off with many double-humped camels with glossy, deep black eyes across the desert. And after many, many days with companions surrounding him, he reached that city of King Quimus. The walls of that city rose out of the sands of the desert in a glorious way. The battlements rose to the heavens, and upon them were the heads of all those suitors of Mir Afruz. But Tamaps took no notice of any of them and rode boldly into the heart of the city. And we'll leave him there for now and continue this story tomorrow.